there it is. Yep.
Did Sarah dial in or not yet?
She's coming in. We sent her a link. I just re-forwarded Sarah the link, so hopefully she'll.
Is she calling or is she going?
She was in Zoom.
She was good before, yeah.
Okay, because I thought she said she couldn't do Zoom.
Well, we can start the meeting. She's the only one that's missing, I think. Looking at the names, Green, Dan, Ron, et cetera. I think we could start the meeting until Sarah comes in for retirement board, okay? Now I'll call the meeting of Corning County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and pledge of allegiance.
Father, bless this meeting today, all those present and social media participants, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. I pray for those who are ill that you will heal them. While it is foolish to worry about tomorrow, it is wise to prepare our thoughts and emotions for the next day. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held February 11th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
The report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session held on February 12th at 1:30 p.m. for personnel reasons and one on February 17th at 1 p.m. for litigation.
The department reports. Budget transfers.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There are no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of payroll check numbers 73131 through 73162, and direct deposit check numbers 6027742 through 6028148 for the payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $596,824.22. This is the payroll dated February 12th, 2021.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Approval of check numbers 218903 through 219022 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,089,533.59.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The treasurer's report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Advertising. Elections for approval. Authorize the advertisement of all legal notices relative to the 2021 municipal election.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
A bid award for approval. A communication was received from the Director of Elections recommending the low bidder, Election IQ of Akron, Ohio, be awarded the contract for the printing of the 2021 election forms and ballots at their bid price of $32,270 with the alternate bid of $12,500.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Children and Youth for approval and execution, an addendum to extend the rates of the 2019-2020 purchase of service agreement for 180 days from the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2020, or until finalization of the 2021 contract with National Mentor Healthcare LLC, doing business as Pennsylvania Mentor of Broomall, Pennsylvania.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
For approval and execution, the fiscal year 2020-2021 purchase of service agreements with the providers as listed below and as per the attached rates.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Communications for approval and execution. A 3-year service agreement with Penn Teledata for the EZNet circuit with Monroe County at a total cost of $2,114.70 per month, which is covered under the approved grant for the Carbon County statewide interconnectivity project.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Courts for approval and execution. The Court Interpreter Services Grant application for language access reimbursable costs during calendar year 2020 totaling $3,792.44.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
COVID-19 Hospitality Recovery Program for ratification. The electronic execution of the agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program grant in the amount of $726,949.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The District Attorney for approval and execution, the award letter for the RAZA grant in the amount of $94,570 from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency for the Victim Witness Program with the District Attorney's Office for the term of January 1, 2021 to December 31st, 2022.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitors report?
Thank you. St. Luke's University Hospital for approval and execution and agreement with St. Luke's University Hospital to provide specimen collection, courier, and laboratory testing services. Fees for all tests are the then current Medicare fee schedule.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Purchasing for approval and execution, a proposal submitted by Diversified Storage Solutions of Norristown, Pennsylvania, to purchase and install 2 Space Saver mobile shelving carriages with accompanying components and face panels at a total cost of $6,458.99. The quote is in compliance with PA State CoStar's contract number as stated.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Mock Chunk Lake Park for approval, a request received from purchasing to accept the quote from Kermit Kistler Incorporated of New Tripoli, Pennsylvania, to purchase a 2021 Polaris Ranger 100 ESP for use at Mock Chunk Lake Park at a cost of $11,689.50 with title fees, document, and delivery fees for a total cost of $11,931.50.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Further business?
Yes, under further the business, one quick thing, I regret to inform the public that former County Commissioner Dean DeLong has passed away. He served, was it 12 years, I believe, in the 90s. So untimely death. So we offer our condolences to his family. That's all I have.
Commissioners reports, Mr. Honor?
The only thing that I have, I think there's been a little mix up with how mail or whatever has been delivered to the elections. And the drop box that's at 76 is no longer available. Any documents, and this is on our website that everybody can look at it, but I just wanted to go over and make sure that everybody knows it or it gets in the paper about what the procedures are supposed to be. The temporary location is 410 Center Avenue if you have to physically take any documents there. And the reason with the drop box being closed, that was something that was in the presidential election in fall, and everything is not still been sorted out how it's going to be. You know, things could change until the primary comes up. And the mailing address that you would mail to is the Carbon County Bureau of Elections, 76 Susquehanna Street, and it's P.O. Box 170. That is the very important number that people should have in there because the post office is actually holding the mail and they pick the mail up there every day. So that, and like I said, there's been people that they're so used to going to the 76 building to drop things off. And like I said, it's on the website. If they go on the website, there right in bold. It says Carbon County Election Bureau, and it actually has the phone number on there, which is the 570-325-4801. So I'm hoping that if you don't have a computer, at least pass this on to somebody. And that's about all I have.
Commissioner Lukasevich?
Yeah, tag teaming with Commissioner Arner there. I want to reemphasize 410 Center Avenue. Been some recent media articles that were very well done in regards to the election. I would ask that as a public service, when either print or a video is done in regards to election, that the press emphasizes the temporary location 410 Center Avenue. If you go to carboncounty.com, front and center, there's a graphic that shows both the address and the facade of the temporary office. You click on that hyperlink, that'll take you to a Google map to help you get there. And likewise, if you do the same on the Bureau of Elections page, you'll see front and center, a graphic. Click on that, and that'll take you right to Google Map to guide you to the new temporary location.
Here's what it actually looks like.
Yep, there it is. Yep.
That's exactly,
Yep.
so it shows you the building and the map to get there.
Yep. So it's real easy to get there. And keep in mind, 76 Susquehanna is an active construction site, so best to stay away from there, at least for election purposes. Well, we saw a approval for purchase of equipment for Mock Chunk Lake Park, and that brings to my mind the fact that we are 99 days and a wake up away from the opening of the beach at Mock Chunk Lake Park. And as is routine about this time of year, we are requesting and looking for lifeguards for Mock Chunk Lake Park. The director is seeking 6 positions to be filled. You can go to carboncounty.com, employment. There is a PDF form there to be filled in application. So those who might be interested would ask that you go ahead and apply for the opportunity to be a lifeguard at Mock Chunk Lake Park. That's all I have.
I have nothing further today, so meeting adjourned. But before we go into our retirement board meeting, I would ask the news media, we'll start with Alyssa, if you have any questions.
Hi, commissioners.
All right.
Morning.
I have a few things. So just to clarify for the address for the Elections Bureau, so people can send mail to either the 410 Center Avenue address or to the PO box.
No,
Please use the mailbox.
Use the
Box
PO
number,
box.
yes.
Okay, so they send mail to just the PO box.
Alyssa, or I'll send that to you.
Okay, great, thank you. And then as far as Mock Chunk Lake goes, are you planning on doing things like normal again, or are you gonna keep the beach, kind of condensed again to start summer as far as just allowing Carbon County residents? Has there been any talk about that?
Well, keep in mind, Alyssa, there was only a 2-week period when we were in red last summer when it was Carbon County residents only, right? That's that myth that continues to live on here. Hey, but at the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting on Friday, the director of the park did mention that swimming facilities in the state of Pennsylvania continue to be under capacity limitations. And the Parks and Rec Commission will be making a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners prior to opening in regards to continued social distancing requirements on the beach.
Okay, cool. And then is there any update on the Susquehanna Street building? I know that they were out there working yesterday, we saw, but any update?
Well, we're hoping that we're gonna hit our projected time of June to have that done. And the second floor is just about done. In fact, there's like just a couple little, items that have to be done and waiting for some of the new furnishings to come. And that's about it for the second floor. But it looks like it should be done by June.
Yeah, that's the 76.
Yeah, that's the 76. Now the 44 has
Different
probably been
story.
pushed back a couple weeks. So we're hoping that that's gonna be done by, I'm hoping the first week of September, because we have to have that ready for the elections, because the elections has to have time approximately 6 weeks before the election to start processing things.
Right. Okay, cool. And then the only other thing I wanted to ask, I just didn't know if there was any more, anything else. I saw that Northampton County and Lanta announced a partnership the other day that they're going to be doing like free door-to-door rides for vaccine appointments for anyone who's part of the rideshare program. Has there been any talk with Lanta as far as doing a similar program in Carbon County with CCCT?
Yes, we will be doing the same thing here in Carbon.
You are going to be doing the same thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So could you talk a little bit more about that and just, who it's going to be open to, any details?
I don't have all the details, but they are providing the same type of service as Northampton, et cetera. I don't know if anyone else knows all
No,
the
we can
real
get you
details.
the notice, Alyssa, and we can link you up with the project manager for Carbon Transit to get the specifics.
Yeah, that would be awesome if someone could do that.
Okay.
I think that's all I have then.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. Kelly.
Good morning. I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay, stay safe,
Yeah.
watch the ice.
Mhm.
Okay, Amy.
Good morning. The only thing I have is to follow up on Alyssa's. May I also have the contact information for the Atlanta stuff on the Northampton too?
Of course, yeah. That's why you have someone video bombing you in the background there.
Yeah, he is.
So now we finally see who writes your story.
Right.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Oh, boy. All right. Okay, if you're ready then, are you ready? We'll call the monthly meeting of the retirement board to order. Turn the meeting over to Mark Severcek, the secretary controller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning.
Morning.
We'll first start with the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting held January 21st of 2021.
Second.
Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Spurcheck, yes. Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Any guests concerning retirement board business? I know Sarah's on for later in the program. Report of executive sessions, none were held. Next, we'll ratify the warrant. That's checks number 40657 to 40662 and direct deposit number 7010775 to 701164 for the month of January.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Sheehan,
Yes.
Mr. Spurcheck, yes. Mr. Arner,
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich.
Yes.
Mr. Notstein.
Yes.
Next will be the retirement activity for the month of January. We had 2 retirement refunds and 1 superannuation, and leaving a balance as of January 31st of $87,677,190. I would also like to reiterate earlier comments by Commissioner Notstein on the passing of Dean DeLong. He looked like he had served 18 years between commissioner and as treasurer. And I want to express our retirement board condolences to Mrs. DeLong and family. And then the second one, this will show up on next month's report, was the passing of Kathy Ryman of Jim Thorpe. And she served for many years in the District Justice Office of her brother, Ed Lewis. And again, wanted to express the retirement board's condolences to Mr. Ryman and family on her passing. On a piece of better news, as of February 12th, last Friday, the pension fund valuation hit a new all-time high of $90,617,174. So we're very happy to see that. I'm sure Sarah will talk more about that when she comes up. Nothing under any questions on that part of it? Nothing under correspondence. Solicitors report.
There is no report.
Okay, thank you. Sarah, are you on? She's on.
She's muted.
All right, I'm unmuted. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Morning.
Good morning. All right, so does everybody have their books in front of them, or do I need to share my screen?
Go ahead and share it for the public, Sarah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get into that for you. Okay, now let's see, how do we share screen? And, well, one data.
We have to authorize her.
She should be good.
Should be good.
Right. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go up. All right, so for those of you who have your book, let's just look at the Marquette update, which is the first tab. And, a couple things is that even though last year was COVID and we were essentially not in the offices and all working virtually, we've had some tremendous growth, and we're about 252 billion under advisement, 420 clients, and 115 new employees. And you can see that we hired Kenny, who is a performance analyst who will be working out of the Westchester office, and also Pat Wing out of our office, who joined the firm in 2013, was made managing partner this year. So we've really kind of seen a lot of growth, and they are adding more and more managing partners to the firm. If you turn to this second exhibit, let's just talk about what's been going on with the market. We know the economic activity moderated considerably in the fourth quarter, with real GDP increasing by a healthy annual rate of 4%. And we look at where it was in the second quarter, year over year, and quarterly it was really down. It popped up in third quarter, and then in fourth quarter, it did retract a little bit. According to Morgan Stanley, households received about 1 trillion in government transfers. And we look at personal savings because that's one thing that we usually talk about in personal savings. And you can see that, we were consistently low, the savings, and it really bumped up and then it started to decline. A lot of that bump was people got the stimulus, and also basically the country was shut down. So people were unable to spend their money, and all of like hotels, vacations and everything. So we've really seen that. When we look at amid the recession on the next page, page 7, the global economy, we talk about, long-term rates have increased slightly. They remain near historic lows, which could continue to act as a tailwind for some of the more cyclical sectors of the economy, particularly those that rely on debt financing. Housing activity, for instance, will likely remain strong amid low mortgage rates. We'll talk a little bit about that. But if you see here, look how the mortgage rates went down. Mortgage applications really fell down and then we saw the rates go up a little bit. We saw more mortgage rates here in November 2015. So let's remember that the last time when they started cutting rates, and they were just coming off all of the bank issues, that the bank said, okay, rates are really low, but we're not giving out any mortgages. Now that we've seen mortgage rates and we've seen it consistent right around here, that they were going up, people were starting to do that. The issue that's going to be in the next year to 18 months is that to go and apply for a mortgage right now, even with low rates, you have many households that now have one person on unemployment, possibly 2 people on unemployment. So you're going to see that we predict that even as rates remain low, mortgages are going to be a little bit tougher to get. As we turn the page, we talk about the global economy. Growth outside the US slowed as well in the fourth quarter, particularly in Europe. We understand a lot of that was due to what happened, especially, England had shut down completely the month of December. And we look at where we are on the global stimulus. Look at that, $28.3 trillion has been put back in to these countries, and the US is at 10.5, so we have really done euros at 6.9. China only did 2.6 trillion, but then go look at below, look at their savings rates of disposable income. So this actually bodes very well that they've got savings, and now they're going to start, hopefully, as we can see right here at the bottom, that they're going to start spending that. We go to the next page and we talk about what had happened in the quarter. And you can see For the quarter, 14.7, for the year, 20.9. So the fourth quarter is really what made that year of performance. However, domestic equities outperformed due largely to performance of a handful of large stocks. We talked about that. You know, if you had owned those 5 stocks that moved the market at the beginning of this year, you would have lost over close to 40%. And then when the market went down and we had that correction, if you know them, you would have made, you know, up to 38%. So that's why being well diversified has done well. Fixed income markets experienced positive returns across the board. And I thought it was really interesting that we look at fixed income markets. US bonds did 7.5% for the year. So they actually had a good year in this market. And we'll talk a little bit about high yield. High yield was a nice play, did 6.5%, and tips actually were solid results. We'll talk a little bit about US REITs and real estate and how that had an effect on the portfolio, but you can see fourth quarter, they were coming up a little bit, hoping the vaccine would come in, hoping that, you know, we would start seeing construction again. Let's turn the page and look at the US equity markets. So when we look at the US equity markets, they continue to rally. The S&P 500 index finished the quarter with a return of 12.2%, ending the year at all-time highs. And then we look at financials. Look at financials. For the year, they were down 2%, but they were up 2.53%. And what financials have done, they have really put a lot back, use this time to put a lot back in their balance sheets to be strong. And going forward, they are hoping that they will start to get some momentum. They were up 25.3% for the fourth quarter. We see energy was up 29.8%. And we also see utilities were 7.4% and consumer staples 7.1%. We look at value stocks, top growth stocks in the quarter. We know that growth stocks have outperformed, and you're going to especially see that during more volatile times. And usually you would say, no, value is really going to be, you know, protect you in the down market. Well, we looked at that, and, you know, we believe long-term values still have a little bit of overweight is fine to that. But we also realize that, you know, when there's the market goes down, traders are looking at small cap and mid cap companies to be able to get more of a return. And you can see that 3.14, 19.9 for mid cap, 31.4 for small cap, whereas large cap lagged. You know, it still was up 13.7. Share prices have far outpaced a rebound in earning expectations, leaving the forward PE ratio at 23.8%. Bullish investors outnumbered bearish investors by 19.3 at the end of the year, well above the 20-year average at 7.7. So you're seeing a lot more people feeling that they're still able to get something out of this market. If you turn the page, we can talk a little bit about fixed income. So the Fed Chair, James Bullard, came out recently and said that even though with these market prices, we're not yet to see a bubble, even though stocks remain at an all-time high. When he was asked if he sees a tapering of bond prices, he said, no, really, and doubts that the central bank needs to start tightening policy anytime soon. And a large part of that is we look at the tech stocks and how they're moving the market right now. You know, they're still buying back 120 trillion of fixed bonds every month. And then we talk a little bit about what's going to happen with rates. Right now, they're saying that they have no real belief that they're going to raise rates. Now, we do have inflation. That's going to be something to consider. And we also have to remember that we have to look at what's going to happen with COVID. You know, there's still questions about COVID, containment, vaccines. We look at the distribution of vaccines. We know that that is really not off to a great start. And then we look at the next stimulus package. And when you look at that package, they're, talking about 600, they're talking about 1,400. Well, $1,400 in a person's bank account may help for a month on bills, but how is that really going to stimulate the economy? We're looking at stimulating the economy by opening the economy back up and people can be able to go work. Also, when we look forward to what to watch for in 2021, is, we've got the next stimulus package is going to be 1.9 trillion. How are we going to pay for that? We look at the new administrations. We'll be on the sidelines looking for new policies, what's going to happen with taxes, interest rates. We really see them staying low, except, if we really start seeing a spike. But we believe that up until 2023, we're not going to really see a large issue of them raising rates. And then we've looked at, and I'm sure you've all realized about, the manipulation of what we call of the short-term market, meaning that, look at what happened with GameStop, and one of the interesting things, all of you can probably pull your phones up now, like every other American, and trade. So you can be on the computer doing a meeting, you could be trading. A lot of the younger generations are off to, doing options, trading on their phones. And really, that is just short-term volatility. We really feel that it's got no meaning impact on the broad global markets. We've seen a lot of records going up, with this market, but we think going forward, it's still going to be diversification, which we'll talk about. And that this year, we're very surprised that last year had the returns they did, and kind of hoping that we can see mid to high single digits for 2021. Are there any questions on the market? All right, well, let's go to the page that everybody likes to look at, is your portfolio overview. So you ended December 31st at 88.7. And as Mark pointed out, as of February 12th, you were at 90.6 million. The portfolio returned 10% versus the policy index of 10.2. So we were right on the market. You had a return of 12.5 for the year, gaining 10.3 million. We know positive attribution from the quarter was your SMID and small cap equity managers. Your non-US equity value tilt helped to that in the international. And then your high yield allocation returned 7.4 during the quarter versus 0.7 of its benchmark. And, we have been slowly trimming back your high yield position. It's now at 0.5%. We saw those spreads kind of tighten. So we've decided, we talked about that being a short-term play. If spreads move in the other direction, then we will definitely go back in. We look at this every week. And then defensive managers expected to, they outperformed in the fourth quarter of the market environment. And really that is when you see this market going up, you're going to see those managers kind of not perform as we should think that they should be. Looking ahead, and we'll go back to, let's go back to looking ahead. We can finish up with that. Are there any questions so far? All right. So as I said, for the fourth quarter, you're right on. For 1 year, you're 12.5. We have to remember that the first quarter was extremely volatile, and also we were transitioning the portfolio. 5 years, you've annualized 10% with a $37.6 million gain. And since inception, for the last 5 years, you've averaged 8.1, meeting your actuarial assumption. Are there any questions so far? All right, let's talk a little bit about, and we're going to go to page.
Oh, excuse me, Sarah, I had a question. On the return summary, the graphical
Mhm.
showing there, it says net, so that is net of expenses, correct?
That's net of expenses, correct.
All right, thank you.
All right, we are going to hop to, all those who have their books, page 34. And you can see this on the screen. We're going to look at how your managers did. So your total US equity composite outperformed for the 3 months. And you can look at American Funds Mutual, while they are a defensive manager, lagged a little bit in the third quarter. Look what they've done year to date. They did 10.9 versus 1.6. So they're doing exactly what we wanted them to do. GWK small mid cap did 22% for the quarter, and since we put them in, have done 31.1%. We really like to look at GWK over the course of 12, 18, 24 months, and they have done very well in other portfolios. We look at the global, did 14.1 for the quarter, year to date did 15.8. Look at putting MFS in, has done very well for you, 9.1 versus 6.4. Harding and Lover was right there on the market at 13.4. And then we look at Dodge and Cox. They, for the year to date, were positive when the market was negative. And since we put them in, they've done 32.9 versus 22.8. So that's been very good on adding that active manager. We look at the non-US equity composite, and you did 17.1. Fidelity Total International Index did 16.8. And then Schroders did 17.6. Morgan Stanley Prime Property did 1.5 year to date. It did 1.3 versus 0.3. C.S. McKee did well for the year. They did 7.4%. And your total fixed income for the year did 8.6 versus 7.5. So we really look at Lord Abbott. You got a nice 7.4 from there. And they've done, since we put them in, 15.2 versus 12.5. So some of the things I just want to talk to you about is that we've talked about the transition on the bank. Actually, just got an email from them. They are setting up, they're working with C.S. McKee and Terrence right now to make sure everything's good to do the lift out. One of the things that once that happens, there was two things that happened last year is when we opened the account for OCIO, we actually were in the course of kind of doing some model restructuring to the OCIO portfolios. What we're going to go doing is once we're able to go in and do the transitions complete, we're probably going to readjust some of the managers. We're going to change some things around, especially in the non-US. We're probably going to look at adding another benchmark there and then switching out some of the managers. This is to be more in line with where we think the markets are going to go for the next year to 2 years. Also, we're going to talk about real estate. You're at 10% right now. We are going to look at probably diversifying that real estate, keeping it at 10% for now, but coming back. And what I would like to do is do an asset allocation study. So for in June, when we have our meeting, or I can do it in May, we would like to talk about adding infrastructure and also putting a defensive equity piece in there, just to start getting some more diversification with this portfolio. And I can tell you that you are about the same size of 2 other counties we work with. And even with that diversification, we're still able to keep the pricing down to, about 40 to 45 basis points. So it's not going to really add anything to the overall cost of the portfolio, but we're going to be able to diversify you a little bit more. Are there any questions?
Sarah, I have a question on the Morgan Prime Property Fund. I know it's about 9% of the portfolio.
Correct.
And of course, its performance wasn't anything to set the world on fire. And I know that the real estate sector has had a lot of turbulence in 2020, but I just wasn't sure what your company's thinking was about that fund. Because I'm looking at a combination of the return versus the expenses of the fund. I think it's the highest expense fund that's in the portfolio. I know you just talked about diversifying further in there. Is that you're thinking about another segment or another company in there besides them?
We are looking at diversifying another company in there. We've had Morgan come in and talk to us. We've actually had all our real estate managers every week have been talking to us, and we've been working on this as an investment committee. This is one of the things that we're looking at. Now, let's go back to right here on this page. You can see they did 4.2%. That's since inception, so it's kind of, from October 18th, that's 2 years, so that's an annualized number. What we are looking at for real estate, is it's very long-term. We funded it from equity and fixed income, and we look at real estate to doing a return between 4% and 6% in the next couple of years, and then probably 5 to 7. We didn't realize, nobody did, how COVID was going to affect real estate. But I am going to go to that manager page so we can just look at them. And, right now you're at 31 basis points all in. So we do weigh those out. And yes, they are the most expensive, but they are really real estate when the market goes down is supposed to be, much is supposed to protect you. And so let's go here. This is page 50. Can everybody see this on the screen? Okay, good. So let's go look at where we are in Morgan Property Fund. One of the most important things is I want to look at this point that when I was looking at some other fund managers. I knew at the point when we did the real estate, you had interviewed them. Some of you were on that board and some of you were not on the board at the time. We did look at Clarion and we did have a couple real estate managers. The thing about Morgan Prime Property Fund, which is so nice, is they've got an 18.4% leverage. So they're very low leveraged. And then go look at occupancy, 92%. That is extremely good considering what we're seeing right now with this real estate with COVID out there. They've got a 1-year dividend yield at 4%, so we're comfortable with that. And you can look at where they are. They do have office space, but they were underweighted. They were underweighted retail, which we really, really, thought was a good thing. And then we go look at, oh, sorry about that. I just bumped you down. I apologize. Okay, I apologize about that. And then go look at here. Property size breakdowns over 100 million. So they are not going out and buying the, smaller strip malls or anything like that. So we are actually very comfortable with them. We know that going forward, this was a play when we thought fixed income was going to really start, will be struggling at one time. We know this market's due for correction. We don't know when. So this is kind of just something to give you a dividend to help pay out, benefits. Because if we look at how much goes out to how much is being put in with the benefits, you've got a lot of benefits coming out. So we, feel that this is a little bit of an income generator as well, but we are going to be looking at some diversification with this. What I would really like to do is probably when we do the asset allocation study for you is look at probably putting in infrastructure, which can act a little bit like an equity, and maybe taking this down to about 8% as the target and maybe going 4% into 2 managers. Are there any questions?
Yeah, just last thing, Sarah, I wanted to clarify. So under the OCIO scenario, the Marquette, I believe the Marquette management fee encompasses the fund fees in there. It's not in addition to the fund fees, correct?
It is in addition to the fund fees.
Pardon me?
It is in addition to the fund fees.
Oh, it's in addition? Okay.
Yes.
Well, that becomes even more important than to look at these, I'm gonna call them the sub managers.
You know,
fee
we
structure.
right, and we really do look at fees. We also look at when we build this portfolio, one of the things that we do is we look that to make sure that the managers that we put in there, the active managers are, you know, well worth their fee, so to speak. You know, you've had some structure, you know, C.S. McKee lowered their fee because of the relationship and you going into OCIO. We also looked to get indexes in there when we believe a manager cannot do what an index can do, and it doesn't weigh the fees. So we do look at fees very much so when we do the portfolio structure.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Nope.
Nope.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for calling in from snowy Pittsburgh.
Actually, it's not so bad, but I was out there shoveling snow this morning, which seems to be my daily job now. So I guess I will put together now, would you want to do all of that education and the asset allocation study in the meeting, or would we want to do, depending on where COVID is in, you know, May or June, come out them, they do an education meeting and then go do the board meeting? So maybe that's something we can all talk about in the near future on how to do that.
Separate meetings for education.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I hope to come out to Jim Thorpe soon. I really do miss it.
We have to get rid of the snow first.
Okay,
Any other questions for Sarah?
Nope.
I don't think so.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
Thank
Sarah.
you.
The only thing I have under further business was just to mention, we always spoke about this last year with David Riker from Corn Ferry about eventually making a decision on changing the actuarial tables that are used when they're calculating the retirement calculation because of obviously the increasing longevity of folks. So I just wanted to bring that up again. And actually, David is going to be recalculating that based on the year end of 12/31 of 20. And actually having a good year like we had could have a positive impact and make that number less. As the actuarial determined contribution could be less as well because of our overall performance of 2020, which we won't know that for quite a while.
Watching the world news this morning, in the first half of last year, the mortality rate dropped a historic 1 year in the first half of 2020. So that's huge, and I would suspect that the second half of 2020 would bring another decrease in that mortality rate.
Well, we could certainly get their professional opinion as to what's happening.
Sure. Yeah,
I think they were even going down to a subset of government workers, if I'm not mistaken, mortality versus general population.
Yeah, they were. And I think though, because of the new numbers that are coming out, that may not be the best way to go. We're again, comparing what's been in the news. It was on the news last night. Today, the Wall Street Journal had an article on it also. About
they cannot force the county obviously to make that change. And basically he said, I'll keep bringing it up and we'll keep talking about it. But now with this latest data, of course, it may be beneficial to wait till all that is into the tables. Table updates.
Yeah, we should have hopefully the second, the final for the year last year before we talk to Corn Ferry, perhaps to give us more insight to what's going on.
Right. Yeah, we could always have them back at a meeting as well, or calling in.
Could I just jump in real quick?
Sure.
I think, we'll get this asset allocation study for you, and that is going to have projections. This is where we think on previous where the market's going. And if we diversify, there may be a little bit more insight into that. So I think between that and getting the update from Corn Ferry and looking at what that is, and then tying that into the asset allocation, which we'll do on our end, get all of that done for you. I think that might be good to have both of those before you look to making any decisions, but I will keep that in mind and actually reach out to Corn Ferry so we can kind of tie a little bit of that in for you so that you would have, some really good data in front of you before making any of those decisions.
Right, and I think what I've learned in pension management, because I had a background in finance and general investment management, but with pension management, certainly you make one change, it affects a number of other items. So that's what I think the counties are always faced with when they make these decisions for the funds. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Any further business for the retirement board? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Okay. Amy, okay, bye, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Amy, any additional questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, tell your son we said hello.
Will do.
Kelly, anything additional? No, she got off already. Yep, she got off. Okay, all right, thank you.
I know, right?